What's up guys, it's Foster and I got my 2015 WRX at the shop today. I'm gonna be working on the interior and upgrading that steering wheel that's been driving me crazy. And I also got some other interior goodies planned as well. If you guys haven't been watching the series so far on my WRX, I definitely recommend you go back and you watch the first couple videos. I highlight basically all the issues that this car has and my plans for what I'm gonna do with it. But basically, I'm gonna turn this into a daily driver that you can take to the track or take to an autocross. So it's got some performance as well as some street style. So if that interests you, definitely give me a like and hit that subscribe button because I got a ton more videos planned for this thing. So anyway, tonight we're gonna be working on the interior since that's where you spend most of your time, and I gotta get rid of the steering wheel. It's driving me crazy with the cheap leather that's peeling off in my hands. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, before we install the parts on the WRX, I'm gonna quickly unbox what I've got for the interior. And as you can see, I've got the S2000 at the shop as well. I'm doing some race prep. So if you guys wanna see me work on the race car, let me know in the comment section down below because I'm constantly working on that thing and I could easily film it. So let's take a look at what we got. We've got the steering wheel box right here. And this is the OLM steering wheel I'm gonna be installing. I went with the Carbon Pro. And that's carbon fiber as well as perforated leather. Really excited to see how this thing looks. So initial impressions, this thing's really well packaged. They do a nice job covering all the carbon fiber up so it doesn't get damaged in transport. And wow, this thing looks a lot nicer than the steering wheel I got in the WRX at the moment. I really love this carbon fiber that they put on the top and the bottom. And it's got little grooves for your fingers too, so when you're cruising, it's got little spots for your fingers to go, which is really nice. This does seem like it's a little bit thicker than the OEM steering wheel, which I like. It's got a nice feeling in your hands. Where I'm gonna be cruising most of the time, 10 and 2, that feels really nice. I really like the clean look of the carbon fiber without the red stripe on it, but it does still have some red accent stitching, which will be really nice because there's little red accents in the WRX. So overall, I think this is a really nice steering wheel. The nice part about this too is the fact that it's gonna transfer over all the controls. So I'm not gonna lose the airbag, I'm not gonna lose any of the volume controls. You don't really sacrifice anything by going to an aftermarket steering wheel like this. It just seems like a nice upgrade, so why not? And then the other thing I've got for the interior is this Raceseng Ashiko shift knob. I don't really like the feeling of the stock shift knob. It's a little too lightweight, and this Ashiko one is gonna add a lot of weight. Maybe too much, we'll find out, but it's gonna make shifting really effortless. You don't have to push very hard, and it's just gonna roll right into gear. And I just really like the style and the design of the Ashiko shift knob as well. So let's go ahead and get these parts installed in the car. In case any of you guys forgot how bad this steering wheel was, this is the condition that it's currently in. As you can see, it's flaking and peeling, and the cheap leather that Subaru used on these steering wheels really doesn't hold up that well over time. So this is kind of where we're at with that. I've never seen one get quite so bad, but it's definitely due for an upgrade. Oh, and this is Ray, by the way. He's my little shop dog, and he's helping me out with my project today, keeping the passenger seat warm, so you might see him in the background. But first things first, let's go ahead and get this off the car. There's 3 little pins you have to get to, and they're on the side of the steering wheel here. I'll do my best to show it to you guys. But basically, you just need to push these pins, and it will release the airbag. So that's step number 1. All right, I got those 3 pins that are holding the airbag in place, loosened. Honestly, that project just sucks every time I do it. You can't see very well. It would probably help if you had a real flashlight. I was just using my phone flashlight, but you gotta look inside those little plastic holes and find the pins and pop them loose with the screwdriver. There's really no easy way to describe it. You just gotta get used to doing it. The more you do it, the easier it gets. But all right, so we got the airbag loose. Now you wanna keep your screwdriver handy because you're gonna need it to pop off these connections that go to your airbag here. So you just pry up underneath of it. And there's 1, and you do the same thing on the other side. There's 2, and then you can wiggle these connectors off. Maybe you might want to pry them off too. There's 1, there's 2. All right, so we got those off, and then there's also a horn that we have to disconnect, and then I think there's a ground as well. And that's what this last one is. You just wiggle that off, maybe. And you got your airbag out. This thing's pretty heavy actually. The airbag's out of the way, so now we can use our 17mm socket and remove the steering wheel from the steering column. It's gonna be a little tight, but once you break it loose, don't take the nut all the way off, leave it slightly threaded. That way you don't hit yourself in the face when you're pulling your steering wheel off. There we go, just like that. And before you completely remove your steering wheel, it's a good idea to make sure that your steering wheel is actually straight. That way when you put your new one on, your steering wheel is still gonna be straight. So make sure your wheels are lined up, make sure everything's straight, and then you can remove it. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, you don't want to mess up your clock spring, so be careful with all these airbag wires. Feed those wires through and disconnect that plug right there, and you got your steering wheel off. So I've got both steering wheels sitting here on the counter, and I'm gonna transfer over all the electronics and controls and this cover here to the new steering wheel, but it's also just a good chance for you guys to see the difference between the two steering wheels. I mean, it's really night and day in terms of quality. I love the perforated leather that you get on this new OLM steering wheel versus the very cheap, it's not even real leather, it's probably pleather that they used on this Subaru OEM wheel. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get all this stuff transferred over, and then we'll be able to put it back in the car. First screw you're gonna wanna remove is this little Phillips head screw holding on your display controls. This plastic cover just pulls up and you can remove it, and then that's gonna reveal two more Phillips screws that are holding on your controls. So you wanna remove those as well. The next step is to move to this lower Phillips head screw, and that's gonna just hold on the steering wheel spoke cover, and then that plastic trim piece should be able to pop out. One more thing I forgot to mention, now is a good time to remove these clips that secure the airbag in place. So using a flathead screwdriver, you can pry these clips off. Transfer over your new bottom cover, and that will snap into place, and then you put your screw in top, and that secures it. Now I'm gonna transfer over all the electronics. Before you stick the steering wheel back in the car, don't forget to plug these white clips in to each other, and you can push that plastic clip into the plastic cover there, and yeah, you're good to go. You can put this back in the car. So right off the bat, this steering wheel already makes a huge difference to how this interior feels. It's amazing actually what a steering wheel does to make the whole car feel a lot more premium. And it really just makes the car feel like it's been taken good care of instead of having this old crummy steering wheel. And another thing I didn't think about is the carbon fiber on the steering wheel actually ties really nicely into some of this trim that the WRX has. And there's a couple different places in the car now where it has that gloss carbon fiber look, which I'm a big fan of. Obviously I need to drive the car to really know how it feels out on the road, but I can already tell it feels better in my hands, and I'm really excited about this upgrade because I know I'm going to enjoy driving the car a lot more. Speaking of which, I do have one more upgrade to improve the driving experience of this car, so I'll show you guys what it is. Well, I'm pretty bad at surprises because I remember I already told you guys that I got a new shift knob, but here is the Raceseng Ashiko shift knob, and it's going to replace this OEM shift knob here that's pretty worn out. It's got leather on the sides, and over time this leather's worn down to the point where it's gotten really smooth and nasty looking. So instead of sharing a bunch of hand oils with the previous owners, I'm going to take that off, and we're going to have a nice metal shift knob here. It does have these little adapters you have to install. And down the road, I am planning on installing a short shifter for those of you wondering. So this car will be getting a short shifter, but for the time being, we're just gonna start with the shift knob and see how it feels. Oh yeah, that feels really good. That's an awesome upgrade. Very excited to row through the gears with my new Raceseng shift knob, and just driving this car in general with this OLM steering wheel is gonna be amazing. So super happy with the interior upgrades we did. Even though they're minor, they're gonna make a huge difference. right, we made good progress on the WRX tonight. I love that OLM steering wheel with the carbon and the leather. I know that's gonna be an awesome upgrade for driving around, and I cannot wait to try it out. I'm also really excited about the weighted shift knob. I think that'll make shifting a lot more fun. And even though this car still kind of looks like a turd on the outside, it's gonna be a lot more fun to drive. So if you guys like watching these videos, give me a like and hit that subscribe button because I got a bunch more WRX content planned for the channel. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you later.